Live from Toledo, this is 13 ABC Action News.
On a day when we mourn the loss of thousands who perished in a horrific plane-related terrorist attack, or a number of them 18 years ago, the area sees a crash of its own today. 2 Texas men are dead after their cargo plane went down just outside of Toledo Express Airport early this morning. And we'll get to coverage of our 9/11 events happening here in our local community and how those communities took time to remember the tragedy 18 years later. First, I want to bring you the latest information we know regarding this plane crash that happened early this morning. Had crews on site all day. We're going to check in with our Michael Bratton here in just a moment. Now, a quick overview of what we know tonight. The victims have been identified as 72-year-old Douglas Taylor and 69-year-old Donald Peterson, both from Laredo, Texas. The cargo plane they were in, full of auto parts, was manufactured in 1957, according to documents filed with the FAA. The plane went down in a fireball in the parking lot of an auto repair business near the intersection of Garden and Eber Roads, just off the turnpike at 2:37 this morning. And with that, exactly what caused the plane to go down remains a mystery at this point. Investigators with the FAA and the NTSB are all in town working to figure it out. And 13 ABC's Michael Bratton joins us live from Toledo Express with a look at where things stand now. Michael?
Well, Lee and Diane, you just mentioned where that crash happened, and we are standing right in front of where it all played out here on Garden Road, right by Eber, between the Turnpike and Airport Highway here. Obviously, a much quieter scene tonight here. Of course, it was a lot busier earlier today, of course, when 14 fire departments were out here working to battle the flames from this horrible wreck earlier this morning. Now, of course, as you mentioned here, it now shifts to an investigation into exactly what made this plane go down. 5 members from the National Transportation Safety Board showed up here this evening. Members of the Federal Aviation Administration also turned out as well. Now, the goal of both groups is to determine exactly why that twin-engine plane went down. We're told they'll work together to recreate the crash as best as they can. Now, the tail of the plane is the most intact piece left from the wreck, so a lot of the focus will be on that. Now, so far, investigators say they can't find that so-called black box flight recorder, and it's believed the plane never had one.
In the next couple days, we're going to be going through the wreckage in detail. We're going to be documenting the accident site, looking at the wreckage, and then there will be follow-up exams after that.
Now, without that flight recorder, investigators say they can't even tell at this point if the plane made a distress call before it crashed here off Garden Road. Now, of course, the investigation is so early and it's ongoing, but we are told that investigators do plan to get to the very bottom of this crash to try to determine exactly what happened. Of course, stay with us here at 13 ABC and we'll work to bring you any updates along with this crash as soon as we get them. For now, reporting live in Monclova Township tonight, Michael Bratton, 13 ABC Action News.
All right, Michael, thank you. And weather now and first responders dealing with real warm conditions overnight into this morning. And we're putting the wraps on a very hot and humid Wednesday now. And some strong storms actually north of the state line this afternoon and tonight. And we want to see if there's a threat for Northwest Ohio. 13 minutes of nonstop news continues with first warning Chief Meteorologist Jay Bergbeck. Jay?
The threat is there north of US 6 for thunderstorms. And great news, the severe thunderstorm watch set to expire at 11 o'clock. Did just that. So no active watches or warnings. Quite a light show, though, if you were looking north tonight up here in Monroe County from Ohio. Quite a light show. Lightning strikes now over Lake Erie, continuing off there to the southeast. Now we're watching 2 more bands of rain with additional lightning, small hail, winds gusting near about 40 to 50 miles per hour. But the trend is that things will start to weaken over the next hour or 2. Watching this band just southeast of Kalamazoo, right about there, and a bigger band over Chicago. That may hold together, bring some showers in the morning, but at that point, any severe threat, which is small already, will disappear. Here we go into the night with Predictor. This is 1 a.m. Showers and storms continue through 3 or 4, start to weaken by 6, and the rest of our day, just a spotty shower. Not as hot as today, but the humidity, that train continues down the tracks. We'll talk about our next chance of rain, see when temperatures go back up to match the humidity levels when I come back in a few minutes.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Diane Larson. And I'm Lee Conklin. The rescue effort continues in Lower Manhattan tonight. That's right. But as it goes on, there is little hope that they are going to find survivors. There was some good news. Hard to believe. It was 18 years ago today. 2,977 people died. Our country forever changed after September 11th, 2001.
Yeah, that cloud of smoke and debris hung over the city of New York. That fireball was seen in Washington, D.C. at America's Defense Headquarters, and a field in Pennsylvania became the final resting place for the brave people who fought to take their plane back. For those who were there or who watched the tragedy unfold on television, the images remain fresh.
And people are jumping out the windows. Over there, they're jumping out the windows, I guess, because they're trying to save themselves. I don't know. And I don't know, everybody just doesn't know where to go. They won't let, everything is blocked off. You can't even, they're telling us to get out, but there's nowhere to go.
And now, almost 2 decades later, we continue to stop and reflect on that awful day in American history. Our Michael Bratton traveling to Gibsonburg tonight, where people paid tribute to all of those who lost their lives.
In Gibsonburg, a modest but powerful memorial pays tribute to the September 11th attacks.
I'm awestruck by it. It's neat. It's cool to see.
Every year on the anniversary of the atrocities, people of all ages turn out to pay their respects.
Every time I see it, I think what those people had to go through. I'm trying to picture it in my head. It makes me sad.
The village's memorial is arguably unlike any other in the country, featuring a 36-foot, 7,000-pound antenna from the top of the North Tower. Its design also incorporates a pentagon shape and elements from Flight 93 that crashed near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. The sight of it all evokes strong feelings from those who see it, including Kyle Timmons.
We weren't really sure how bad it was. We kind of were told that everything was being blown up at the time.
A former member of the U.S. Navy, Timmons was stationed in Washington, D.C. in 2001 and was tasked with helping those at the Pentagon.
To look out and to see the smoke, it became more real than I could have ever imagined.
Now a pastor in Illinois, Timmons shared his experience Wednesday, calling on Americans to stick together going forward, just as they did on that fateful day.
We didn't know anyone that we were in contact with, but we were friendly. We could offer a smile. We could just show them respect and dignity that we all deserve.
In Gibsonburg, Michael Bratton, 13 ABC, Action News.
And believe it or not, there are now adults who have no memory of 9/11, and next year there will be 18-year-olds who were not even alive at the time. So what are local schools doing to keep this important piece of our history alive and in the minds of our younger generations? At Gateway Middle School, understanding the tragic event starts with appreciating those who put their lives on the line daily. And first responders were invited to sit with students at lunch today. More than 30 of them were there today. Many of them were family members of students, part of a week-long event where the school is also taking time to recognize servicemen and women.
And now some local high schoolers and college athletes took steps to reflect on the lives lost. The students climbing 110 stories to simulate the 110 floors of the Twin Towers. 9/11 Memorial Stair Climb, just another way to connect the present generation to the past.
I can't obviously understand the fear and the pain that was going through their heads while they were doing this, but I can at least understand the physical pain of climbing that many stairs while I reflect on the amount of people that lost their lives that day.
A lot of ways to pay tribute. This year marking the third 9/11 stair climb, made possible by the Horizon Science Academy, Ohio Community Athletic Conference, and the University of Toledo. And at Redline Circuit Training Gym today, 343 squats in honor of the 343 firefighters killed in the line of duty that day. People had 30 minutes to complete the challenge. This is the second year the owner of the gym has hosted the event. All of the proceeds from the challenge benefit the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. Well, in other news today, a local teen could be the next American Idol. It was yesterday the budding star made it past the first round of auditions for the 18th season of the show. And today, he talked with 13 ABC's Michaela Marshall about the experience. Michaela has the story you'll only see right here on 13 ABC.
Well, Lee Diane, Ethan Zidell is a 16-year-old junior at Whitmer High School. He took the day off school yesterday and drove down with his dad to Detroit at 4:30 in the morning to audition for American Idol, and now he's one step closer to his dream.
Ethan Zidell's passion for singing began when he was 2.
Ever since then, I've sung every day of my life. I have not missed one day.
Ethan told me he's always loved to watch American Idol on TV. You must be at least 15 to try out. He's 16 now and has been prepping for months.
I've dreamed of it for years.
His audition song of choice, A Song for You by Ray Charles.
I've sung a lot of songs, I made some bad rhymes.
But clearly, the first round judges didn't think he made any bad rhymes.
We want you to go further in this competition. There's something about you that we like, and, you know, they like to see more.
Ethan's inspiration is Aretha Franklin, and he sang in her town, Motown, for the audition.
Probably one of the best moments of my life.
Thousands waited in line for hours at the TCF Center for a shot at stardom.
When they gave me my yes, they sent me over to what was called the winner's circle, and there was just me and one other person, and I was so shocked.
Ethan feels validated and is thrilled for the chance to advance in the competition.
I am so excited to meet Lionel Richie.
He's thankful for the support of his family, friends, and Panther Nation, especially the help from his choir director, Randy Bachman.
I don't even know how to put it into words. I mean, he's done so much for me.
You sound wonderful.
All right.
You just look a little blank, so show me some expression.
Okay.
Well, we support each other. I think it's great. He's perfect for it.
You think he has a real shot?
I really do. I think he's got all the ingredients.
And when he's not singing, he's still on stage acting, rehearsing for the upcoming school play, a comedy called I Take This Man.
I don't know who I am.
Antonio! Now what you're seeing there, we did get a sneak peek of that rehearsal today, and it does seem to be quite a funny show. Now Ethan's next step is another audition the end of this month with executive producers, and if he makes it past that, there's one more round before he actually appears on the show. We'll of course continue to follow Ethan's exciting journey ahead. Lee Diane.
All right, Mikhail, thanks very much. Turning now to a crime and safety alert tonight. Paulding police are searching for the man who robbed a bank in the village of Oakwood this morning. They released this picture of the masked suspect who held up the bank on First Street. Now, he didn't show a weapon during the robbery, and he fled the scene in a cargo-type van, possibly with Indiana license plates. Two tellers were the only people in the bank at the time. They weren't hurt. The FBI is assisting in the investigation.
And the search is still on for the driver who hit a BGSU student, leaving her with serious injuries. Taylor Martinez says she and her friend were coming home after a night out, and that's when someone in a white car hit them both and took off. Her friend's injuries were minor, but Taylor suffered a brain bleed and had to get about a dozen staples in her head. Her parents are offering a $5,000 reward to anyone who can help identify the driver.
And another follow-up on a story that we broke here on Action News at 11 o'clock Monday. Adrian police officers paid a visit to a little girl who was hit by a car and bought her a new bike and a helmet. As you can see, the little girl now out of the hospital. The driver who hit her and drove off, police say, now in custody. There are plans in the works to put up a stoplight at the intersection where this crash happened.
Checking your consumer alert tonight, a massive recall of some very popular vehicles. General Motors recalling 3.4 million pickups and SUVs here in the U.S. to fix a brake problem. The recall covers all the models you see here listed on your screen. GM says a pump in the power assist brakes can put out less vacuum power than needed, actually increasing stopping distance. Find all the details on this recall at 13abc.com.
Well, back to weather on a warm and steamy Wednesday night.
All right, let's see if we're due for a break here. Maybe Thursday. Jay has your 13-hour forecast now, and looking over the state line at those storms still. Jay?
Storms rolling in tonight. The severe threat has dropped, so that's good news. Still a small chance for some gusty winds, small hail. But tomorrow when you wake up, we'll have the lingering showers in the area, especially in Michigan near the lakeshore. 68 degrees, a humid day, but not as hot. Last 2 days have been in the 90s. Tomorrow, upper 70s to near 80 with a nice breeze developing off the lake, so still humid, a warm day, and drying out for the afternoon. More heat, more storms are in the forecast for Friday, and the weekend still looks pretty good. Those details with your hour-by-hour forecast after the break.
13 after 11 still to come tonight. A wayward drive lands a truck and a driver in a very unusual place.
Rapid River Rescue, the effort to save a man and his dog. The amazing video you've got to see.
And a little bit later, top honors for Toledo's own Wake grad Natasha Howard taking home some hardware as the WNBA playoffs begin.
We are back in just 35 seconds.